What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Trail Theory Podcast. I'm Brian.
I'm Alex.
I'm Austin.
And I'm Pfeiffer.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Trail Theory.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I went out of my way to make sure not to say good evening. And then you guys say good morning. Come on.
Planned. It wasn't planned.
Screwing me
It's
up.
9 a.m. and we're all drinking beer already.
En la mañana.
Crack that mimosa.
It's 12 o'clock somewhere.
12.
It's so stupid. I don't know. Whatever.
It's noon on a Monday somewhere.
I think that's the charm, Brian. That's why we have thousands, hundreds of thousands of listeners.
Millions.
We love you guys. Thank you so much. If you haven't given us a 5-star, please do. And if you haven't, I think there's a lot of people that will watch and listen. Just hit the subscribe button.
Do it.
Just do that. Just follow. It's a one button push.
And leave a comment. Send us an email.
Can we talk about
Do all the things.
We have an episode to talk about.
Do
Can we
all the
stop
things.
being so desperate?
Not desperate. I just want to hear from our awesome
We want to hear from their
Listen,
we have gotten
We have
some
gotten
really
some
cool
amazing
emails,
emails, which I know, Brian, you've been sending them through.
Yeah,
and
it's
like
been awesome.
Full, awesome stories from some of you guys that are really awesome to read. I love it.
And even shout out, I can't remember his name, but
What was it? We should pull him up. Let's call him out.
Someone likes Kung Pao beef.
Yeah, hold on.
Are you kidding me?
George.
I didn't see this.
You
It
didn't
was
see it?
Yeah.
George
Hold on,
from Canada.
Shout out, George.
Yeah. Hell yeah,
his
George.
taste buds are messed
No,
up.
he had like a very well thought out.
It was a good
It
email.
was like email about hey, I was thinking about
All right.
this.
All right, George.
Was it George? Now I'm second guessing
Hold on,
myself.
check. I want to make sure we get the call out right.
Yeah, get the name right. But whoever it is, we'll talk
gonna
about
arm
this.
wrestle.
No, we'll talk about this at the next freeze dried episode.
Georgie.
Georgie. The next freeze dried episode, we will read this email and talk about it. 'Cause
I think
tonight we're not doing that. There's no food on the table.
I think we need to do a bonus episode that is our bottom from each episode, from
And
each
top.
of them.
Yeah.
Just our bottoms. The lowest ones we've ever rated.
Be careful.
Clip.
And
I have a question.
get out of here. Get out of here.
Is this episode after Halloween?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, there's fucking
Bigfoot
hair everywhere. dude.
Bigfoot hair is everywhere.
It was just on my beard.
Yeah.
And we recorded that weeks ago.
Yeah, that
We
morning.
recorded
That
it
morning
months
we
ago. Months
recorded
ago.
that was
Months ago.
crazy.
Yeah.
Horrible guest. Anyways, let's get into it.
He's just not a good friend.
Yeah, not coming back.
Kinda
Not
yeah.
invited.
Furry. It's everywhere.
Anyways,
He didn't sweep or anything.
yeah, right.
Oh, I have once.
He left a trace.
Yeah,
Choked it.
He left a trace.
Choked it.
Furry
Okay.
man.
Anyway,
He stole our beer.
So the episode that we're gonna do tonight, we did something like this previously, where we talked about the top 10 rated trails, most popular trails on all trails, where basically the rules were, all in the United States, and that was basically it. When we just went through the top 10, and it was a lot of
it was just tops.
it was just tops.
Yeah.
A lot of these trails were like anywhere between 3 and 7. I think maybe 8 miles was the longest one. They were all in pretty popular national parks. It was cool to go through because Alex, you had done a couple of them. I hadn't done any of them. There were a couple.
Some were short. Some were like the
pretty short.
picturesque ones.
There weren't any on the East Coast. Not
No, it was all
one of
West
them
Coast.
was on
Yeah.
the East Coast.
We're going to do the same
Maybe
thing,
that'll change
but we've
tonight.
got some new rules. Basically, we did the same thing where most popular hikes on all trails, but these are all basically backpacking trips that you can take all over 20 miles. Again, all in the United States. I didn't double up any parks, but honestly, I don't even think I ran into that because that's what I did last time.
Oh, sure.
Right.
I didn't double up because there would have been 4 in
Yosemite.
Yeah.
Yosemite.
Yosemite. So these are not necessarily must do overnights because you could do 20 in a day, but most people are probably doing
Whooping
multi-night.
ass.
Yeah, these ones are
Go out and backpack, guys.
Designed for multi-night, or at least
exactly. Yeah, I mean,
Actually, we're going to do a segment where we try to do every one of them in one day. All of the the top 10 on this list.
I'm in
one day.
Okay, actually,
Well, not all of them, but I'm saying each individually
of them.
trail.
I haven't gone.
Oh, I thought you were going to make a challenge, like do them
that
all
would
in
be
one day.
that would be
Yeah.
impossible.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
once they invent,
Time travel.
Yeah.
Or not time travel, but
I guess you
teleportation.
could say if you
teleportation.
counted the hour from like start to finish, and then the hours, like how many hours could you do it in 24 hours?
Doing one of them,
Excluding travel
doing the
time.
one that's on
Doing
here that I saw that
each
we'll
of the
talk about later.
ones.
There's no way that. Well, there's a way you could do it. There's actually two guys that have a show.
Listen,
I like how
man.
On
Alex
outside
man.
throws out this
that you
hypothetical that we're never going to do.
Ever.
And now we're talking about it.
Listen,
this
people
is
have
part of the
climbed
episode now.
El Cap with no
People.
ropes.
People.
Yeah.
Person.
A human, a real human, a humanoid.
Well,
I love Alex.
Humanoid.
so
Anything
much.
Yeah.
is possible.
I was gonna say
He might be
he's
alien,
Not, he
but-
might not be human.
Yeah, he's
All
not.
right. So, anyways,
animal.
we're gonna go through this list through 10. Just from initial thoughts, we won't name them by name yet. We'll get there, but there are 2 on this list that we have done as a group. Let's start with number 10. We are going to Olympic National Park, which we were in for the top 10 of the most popular short day hikes as well.
Yep.
The Enchanted Valley Chalet via East Fork Quinault River Trail. So this is a 25.5 mile out and back trail in Olympic National Park, which
Scroll through the
is
photos here,
in
Give me a little taste.
Olympic is in Washington.
Yeah.
Yep.
Washington.
So it looks like they're kind of riding the ridge too, because it's the elevation gain isn't awful. It's like, what is it?
Well, once you get far enough out there, you're through kind of the mountainy stuff.
But just looking at I'm not logged into my thing here. But
gonna
just
say,
looking at
come on, throw it up, pal.
the profile, it doesn't look like there's a lot of like maybe just
I see
one up and then a down.
I see in some of the photos hints of what we saw at the Winds, which is that backdrop of just the range. Like everywhere you look,
yeah.
it's
Like
just
a
that.
vantage
And
shot.
that
That's sweet.
that is I've found since we went there that's the thing. That's my thing now. If you can see the backdrop of mountains where it's kind of like in the haze and it's
That's
just always
You're into that?
always there.
You're into that?
Honestly, we
Does
saw
that mean that you're
at
going to come with
going.
me to Rainier?
the Adirondacks. We saw it there too.
No comment.
He
Maybe
wants
one day,
it
yes.
in the background. He doesn't want to stand on it.
Yeah, I don't want to be on top.
No, it's both. You see
No.
it. You see it all over. It's
I love
One
that
day,
for you.
I'll go
It's
with
all
I'll go
over.
with you one day. No, but when I
day.
see pictures
You're
like
gonna
that,
come
it makes me happy.
I don't think so,
Yeah.
Brian.
You
I
are.
like that.
Trail goers are saying, recent reviews highlight
Love
beautiful
you.
forest scenery, a lot of wildlife, well maintained trails. Challenges are like lengthy mileage and consistent elevation changes. And the recommendation is to do a multi-night trip, which 25 miles. Yeah, technically you could do that in a day, but dude, enjoy the time and go out and do it,
Yeah, out
especially
and
with
back.
some elevation. Another one that was pretty recent. And again, here's another thing to talk about with these type of trails. Typically, places like this that have longer distances, usually it's not like, hey, this is the option. Usually, those areas have multiple trails.
Yeah, a little bit of a system.
They can be kind of pieced together. In fact, the 2 that we've done that are on this, that's what we did. We didn't do the specific trail that it says on here,
Right.
but so you can make it longer than 25 miles
For
if you
sure.
wanted to.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to this. I thought it was interesting that it said All Trails has a little summary of recent
Completions.
Reviews. And it's got to be some sort of AI generated thing that takes the last 3 months and kind of piles it together. And one of the things it said was abundant wildlife. Well, the most recent review on here, which was just a couple days ago, they were 8 banana slugs, blue heron, multiple squirrels, and enough scat to convince us they are surrounded by bear, elk, and big cats.
Don't worry, Brian still won't bring bear spray.
No.
They'll bring
believer.
slug spray.
Slug
Some salt.
Wait, did you
Slugs
say
are
they ate?
dangerous.
They ate
No, they-
slugs.
they- there was
the
8.
number 8.
There were
The
8
number
of
8.
them.
I was
There
wondering
were
the same
8.
thing.
Okay.
There
I was
were
like,
8.
man, banana slugs for dinner?
I don't know how true this is, but there's an internet story of a dude that ate a slug and he lost all function in his body and was basically a vegetable after
Yeah,
eating it.
I'm sure some of them are poisonous.
Don't eat
I imagine.
slugs
Why would you want to?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
on a dare.
I mean, I guess
I mean, that's what the story is.
Oh, is it?
The
They
kid did it on a
Ew,
dare.
it just gave me shivers. I don't like that at all. No.
No thanks.
the heebie-jeebies.
No, thanks. I like that. Yeah, this looks nice though. We still have yet to do an out and back though.
Someone is saying that it might be more like 29 miles.
Nice.
Instead of
Listen, I'm gonna say
they logged it in a GPS. And
Always
it's more
add
like
the
29.
miles
Always add
are
5.
never exact.
Always
on
add
these
5.
trails. That's like if you're like walking in a straight line on the trail.
Yeah.
I mean,
and nobody does that.
it's good. It's as accurate as it is, but always err on the higher end.
Yeah.
This looks sweet. I mean, yeah, I'm into it. I would do this 10 out of 10. Oh, there's a salamander. Yeah, this is sweet. Mountains,
pretty.
rivers, big fucking coniferous trees. Hell yeah. Into this shit.
All right, I'm gonna go to the next one. Not because like we're so constrained on time, but because I'm excited about it. Because I think this might be the one that I vote for our next West trip.
You didn't vote for it the last time.
Yeah, well, you're allowed to change your mind.
I pitched this idea the last time.
So number 9, coming in at number 9 on the All Trails list is Timberline Trail around Mount Hood. This
Timberline.
is
Timberline.
There's one issue with this trail already.
You mispronounced the name?
Oops.
Well, it's 39 miles.
It's 40
miles.
Yeah, 39.8 with almost 10,000 feet in elevation.
It's a hard trail.
And it is a loop. Yeah, this thing is brutal.
We would just need
dude.
more time. That's
So
all.
listen to this.
Let's see an extra day.
I'm trying to remember what the Beat Mondays. Have you guys seen that show? Beat Mondays?
Beat Mondays.
Yeah.
No.
2 guys, they're weekend warriors, right? They've got full-time jobs. One of them's a guide, mountain guide, and the other one owns like a tech company. And it's an outside like TV show. It's on YouTube. Very cool, but they're
Is that
like
the
outdoor
guy that
adventures.
says everything's neat?
No,
I'm kidding.
not that guy. But they did
Isn't
the
that neat?
Mount Hood. I'm pretty sure they climbed Mount Hood and summited, came down, and did the entire loop
this
around the Timberline trail in less than 48 hours. Wow. Crazy.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah.
So we could totally do that.
Yeah, I mean, this is stunning. I mean, the first photo
This
on
looks
this
nuts.
is this insanely huge, widespread, like, waterfall.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like basically just drenching a wall. Wow, incredible.
It looks awesome.
So yeah, this is long as shit, dude. This is super long. Every review that I have read is that it's not 39 miles, it's 45 miles.
Right.
So
Yeah, that
it's
makes
a
sense.
little
Add
longer.
5. Add 5.
That's funny.
That's long. It looks beautiful. I mean,
we can stay with my Aunt Joyce before and after because she lives really close to here.
Nice. Thanks,
so Aunt
Aunt
Joyce,
Joyce.
we're gonna
Thanks,
live.
Aunt
We're
Joyce.
gonna come
It'd be
stay with
like
you.
7 stinky boys coming staying
She
with
wouldn't
you.
mind.
Stinky before we hit the trail.
Right.
Yeah, and some of the challenges are, you definitely want to start early in the day for the trail, but also plan for water sources. So it sounds like this one might be a little difficult finding water on the trail.
I think it was if I can remember correctly, I thought it was on the left side of the mountain that it was harder to find water.
You know,
I mean, it was a year
left
ago that
side.
we talked about it. The
You
left
know-
side of the mountain's harder to get the water source.
but what from what perspective?
east or west? I mean, what are we talking
Where
about?
you're
you're looking,
standing.
when you're looking,
Depending which way you're going.
if you're on the map, north is up, right on the left side of the mountain.
So that would be
the west.
I mean, so
Right.
like this one
Have you
person
been outside?
This one person is
It's
writing.
exactly
Ever
what I
seen a
just
compass?
looked
at a map.
You said the left
the
side.
left side,
Which
what if
is
you're
west.
standing? What if you're standing on the east side?
Yeah. What if you're looking south?
It's true.
You'd be
I
that
just
would
said
be the
if you're
east side.
looking north.
Did you
the
know?
left side?
Did you know
west.
that
You'd be so
there's-
useful on a boat.
Listen to
Go
this.
left.
Listen to this. So
port side?
Go
compass
up.
over here.
The way that we look at the Earth
Yeah.
from like North America here and Europe and then like Africa, Australia, the way we look at it, it's arbitrary,
Right.
right? And you could, if you're standing in Australia and that was like the center of like let's say like history and technology, like we probably would have drawn all the maps with Australia up here in like the northeast and then like gone down. Isn't that kind of interesting? It makes
Sure.
no difference of like where we're positioned around the sun or in the solar system or anything like that.
That's
where
why-
north is like upright. It's not.
That's why there's a true north. That's why you have to be careful when you're using your compass.
right.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. Like
Yep.
we're
This is
we're kind of we could be down under.
This is
right?
one of those scenarios where it's like saying a single word over and over and over again to the point where the word sounds really fucking weird. If I think about this long enough, my brain will hurt.
Right? Because we always think of it in like the sense of
What
like
we've
how we
been
look at
taught.
a globe or
Yeah.
a map, and it's not. I mean, there's no.
It's just we're just
it's
establishing
just
a
our
reference point.
perspective. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
and
our
that's just
reference point.
the
Yeah.
global, like, that's what everybody,
Yeah.
that's our baseline for
You
everything.
gotta have a reference point, otherwise no one knows what they're talking about. But you know what there isn't a lot of on this trail? Campfires.
Oh, yeah.
No campfires.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
I can get over it.
I can get over it.
What
I'd
is
be,
the point? I
I'd be
can definitely get over
disappointed,
that.
but I can get over it.
This one looks so epic. I wouldn't even care.
Yeah.
If I was on like one that I thought was boring and we weren't allowed to have campfires, I'd be like, this sucks. But this is like so epic. I don't care. There is. I mean, honestly, dude, there's a review here where this guy is going into such great detail about where to find water during certain campsites.
Yeah.
What's his
and-
name?
and-
Is his name Georgie?
and a lot
Does
of
he
it-
like Kung Pao beef
And
too?
and a lot of it has to do with
Hell yeah.
what time of year you go. And apparently later in the year, like in October and September, it's harder to find water. Earlier in the year, it's a little easier, which is probably because you're getting
snow.
glacier,
Snow melt.
or
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
glacier,
Yeah.
but snow melt from
Yeah.
the mountains. So this far into the year, you know, you're not getting that much. And this guy was in September, and it's like 30s in the nighttime, you know, 70s during
Yep.
the day. So
That's
cool, but
so
pretty
perfect.
extreme differences.
Ironically,
Perfect.
though, the photos, I mean, I'm seeing a lake, I'm seeing a river, I'm seeing a waterfall. Like, it looks like
Yeah.
water is an absolute abundance, but,
Yeah, but
that's
a picturesque kind of thing. You're not going to take
it's
a picture
feature.
of.
Yeah.
You're just not going to take a
Features.
picture of no water though.
I know. I'm
Well,
just,
I mean,
I'm
you
just
could.
saying.
Other than like a beautiful like
Mountain,
landscape, mountains. You know,
vista.
I mean,
Pasture.
It's just
Yeah.
surprising, I
You know,
guess. Is
interesting.
My,
Lots of other
is
things.
all.
this would be like a 4-day.
I think
5-day
so.
kind of
That's a
trip.
long-
I think so.
This
Yeah.
is a long
Yeah.
trail.
It's a
Maybe
long
3
trail.
nights.
At a
4
minimum.
days.
I would at a minimum
All
might
day,
need
2
4.
days. I mean,
You
if you're
might need-
staying somewhere before and after.
Even-
Well, if you're
we
only
did
doing
3
two,
nights.
if you're only doing 2 full days and like part of even 3
couldn't-
full days, you got to be
That's
hitting
trekking,
12,
dude.
13 miles a day.
Yeah.
without
That's
having
a
to
lot.
worry about
On
like
a hard trail,
flight
that's a
getting
lot.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a hard
Yeah, I
trail,
mean,
that's a lot.
even
That's
just
what I
thinking
call it.
back to when we did the winds, I mean, think about that.
We were conservative on that one. What was the
Yeah.
final on that? 20.
Ended
What
up
was
being
our
like,
longest
it ended
day?
up being like 30 miles.
What was our longest day, though?
It was like
11.
11.
It was 11.
Almost 12.
So imagine having to do that for 4 days.
Yeah.
And we after that first day, we chose we're not doing that again, and we changed our plan specifically
Right.
to
Precisely.
not do that again. Yeah.
Like, that would be I mean, not impossible. Not saying
hard.
that.
It's hard with that
But-
elevation change too. That's
yeah, I mean,
10,000.
That is a lot.
And
I'm
we,
ready
we'd
for
have
Mount
to,
Hood,
we
though.
would
I
have
wanna
to be
do that.
worried about
Let's
this
kick some
guy.
butt.
Yeah.
Kick butt. Take
Actually,
names.
wait, hold on. What did
What-
we
yeah,
talk
what
about?
is the
What is the
elevation
starting
there?
elevation? Like the actual sea level.
Oh, that's a good
elevation.
question. Somebody else look it up. I got the next one on deck.
So
Will it say on here? On all
starting elevation is if it'll let me do it,
Concerning.
like 6,000.
Oh, that's
What
not
is
bad.
it- what does it
that's
get
not
to?
What's it get
The
up to?
highest it gets to is
Oh, that's
7,312.
Nah.
nothing.
Because you're going around the mountain. You're not going up the mountain.
Yeah,
at all.
you're just
Right,
looking.
yeah.
You're circumventing
'Cause
Mount Hood.
The
All right.
Mount
Less
Hood's,
concerned.
Our
Mount
little boy
Hood-
would be all right.
It'll be fine.
Okay. Our guy.
Mount Hood's elevation is
Little elevation.
11,251.
Yeah.
So you'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah. All right.
Well, most of us would be perfectly fine either way, but
You're not. Oh my God. You.
He's sensitive about it, just like he's sensitive
We
to the
love
elevation.
you.
Yeah. All right.
just like he said.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
All right, moving on. All right, for our next one, we're going to a state we've never even thought about backpacking in. This is the 7th. Are we on 7 or are we on 8?
We're on 8.
We're on 8. No, we're on 7.
We're on 8.
We're on 8. This
We're
is
on
the third
8.
one.
This
is
is
the
Eagle Rock Loop.
8. We're doing Eagle Rock Loop. This is in the
Rock.
Ochita National Forest in Arkansas.
Ooh, you're right. Have not thought about
Why isn't it
Arkansas.
Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Or Kansas.
No.
Yes.
No, Arkansas.
If it's gonna be Kansas, it's
No,
gonna be Arkansas.
I know. Arkansas, Kansas. Why isn't it,
I haven't
Arkansas?
ever thought about hiking in Arkansas.
Yeah,
No,
dude.
Dude, they've got huge ass tarantulas. Nope, I'm out.
Brother.
Is that like the
You've
Australia
been
of
places
the-
with
I've
those
never
puppies.
heard of this at all. What do you
never
mean
heard- no.
Arkansas has tarantulas?
I can see a picture of
Oh,
it.
literally, you're just seeing it
Oh.
right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, this trail.
It's a picture of spiders.
dude, homie doesn't
Swipe
the
to
tarantulas are-
another picture.
Homie
I'm
doesn't
sure
mess
you
with
can.
spiders,
I'm sure you
man.
can rent some tarantula spray at the airport.
Nah, dude.
Yeah, man.
I'm not messing with that.
Anyway,
Have fun,
So
guys.
this bad boy, this loop is
You'd be in.
26.6 mileage.
Hell yeah.
So just a little bit more than
It's
a
in our
marathon. We got almost 4,000 feet of elevation gain. This is a loop, another loop. I love that.
loop.
Round and
But
round
yeah,
we
this
go.
is a well-known backpacking route in Arkansas. It's a challenging loop. It takes about 3 days. Let's see what people are saying about this bad boy. So, plenty
This
of water
is,
sources, beautiful views, challenging, steep, rocky, pack light.
Deep.
This is strangely giving me some like Dolly vibes in
Yeah,
the
same.
pictures.
There's a
They
little
had
bit
a
of a
couple-
roller coaster section.
They had a river crossing, but it's really like not too bad. You can just get your feet wet. There apparently it's in a drought, and there's still plenty of water. So,
These hills,
Yeah.
I mean, it looks, I mean, it kind of reminds me of like Virginia.
a little bit.
I wouldn't have ever thought, I don't know.
Right,
Between
I
this
wouldn't.
and,
If you showed me the pictures without giving me the state, I would not have guessed Arkansas. At all.
I
It's
saw
because
a
it's-
photo the
It's
other day of
hilliest part
Idaho,
of it.
and I got to send it to you guys. Idaho, man.
Wild.
Not what you think.
Yeah.
it is.
Oh yeah, no, not at
Yeah,
all.
for sure.
Yeah,
this is
freaking-
gorgeous,
this
dude.
is
There's
amazing.
like sections on this hike with like cave rock formations.
Yeah, it's like gorge.
handful of like
kinda areas.
waterfalls. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like it.
See, I feel like Arkansas, at least for us in our context, when we're looking for places, Arkansas is like just far enough that we probably couldn't drive to, but we're not thinking of like flying out to, right? Like it's in that middle ground where it's like I don't know if it makes sense for us to go.
We'd have to see something, and maybe this is it. We'd have to find something that's like asked us the question. We've never been presented with, "Oh, is Arkansas on the list?"
This looks amazing.
So,
you know.
interestingly enough, I'm
Minus the tarantula
I'm
and all the
looking at a
spider
map.
webs.
I think Arkansas is one of very few states I've never been to.
I haven't been there either.
I've not been there.
It is in the
I've driven
it's-
through a
it
lot,
is
but I don't
in
think
the
I've been there.
weirdest freaking spot on the map. Like if you were going
not
like
spiders, though,
if
it's
you were going
silkworms, right?
west, you'd go through like Missouri,
Remember the
Kansas,
silkworms we saw at
Oklahoma.
That's a
Yeah,
spider
But
web, dude.
you
That's
would
not
like
spider.
not
Like
hit
a-
Arkansas.
Yeah, no,
It's really weird.
that is weird. Yeah, nice. No, that surprise state showing up at
Yeah.
a popular one.
I'm not into
Yeah,
that.
so where in Arkansas? I'm just
This is the
curious.
farthest.
What,
This is
The
the
northern
farthest
section or
east.
middle?
This is the farthest east we have been on any of these trails.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we're about to get much more east though.
Oh yeah.
80% of this trail is under the canopy. Winding stairs is beautiful. Are beautiful. We were on this trail in the fall, so the water level is very low. It's rated hard, but 27 miles under 4,000 feet.
okay, I'm gonna ask a question.
Yeah, but it's. I guess the path is like
Is it
super rocky,
Oh, is
pretty
it?
dry. Like it's like a,
How long?
It looks nice.
How long did it take us to get to the Adirondacks?
Get 3 or
we had
get
to,
2.
We stayed a night, so it was like
12
all together
hours.
12 hours probably.
11 hours.
How long is it to get to this one?
It's. I mean, it's a long time, but it's only 15 hours, and
A
it feels
little bit
like
more.
so much further away.
Yeah.
That's a,
I'm
that's
just
a full
Yeah,
day.
it's
of
a full
driving,
day. Trust
dude.
me, I'm
dude.
not
I probably never
denying
even
it.
thought of Arkansas for
I would-
anything.
I
Well,
would-
and that's why
yeah.
I'm saying it.
Yeah.
I'm like, how far? I never even
Since we've
thought
done-
about driving to Arkansas.
Right. Because since we've done the flying thing when we went to Wyoming, for something like that, I'd probably argue like,
Yeah.
let's fly.
Just
Yeah,
for
I don't-
time's
I don't
sake.
disagree.
Why
can see
why
our-
spend 15 hours in a car, do a really hard thing, and then spend
Right.
15 hours in the car?
Is it fun?
We could see an armadillo. They have armadillos there. There's
In
an armadillo.
Arkansas?
Yeah. There's
the old
pictures of them there.
Tarantulas and
Armadillo.
tarantulas, armadillos, and good backpacking.
And
3 things I didn't
quesadillas.
know that Arkansas had.
I I had zero knowledge of Arkansas until this episode. So
Shit, we gotta get moving.
now I know those 3 things.
All right, Arkansas, you're cool. Arkansas, let's move on.
Rad.
All right. Number 7 is one that we have all been to. This
we
is
go.
the Manistee River Loop Trail in Manistee National Forest in Michigan.
The furthest east we've been.
This is
On this list, on this
For
list.
this north.
by far, and I'm not even
time.
surprised at all, but the
Of the ones we talked about.
easiest trail.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
and it's still
on here.
rated moderate.
It is 20 miler, 1800 elevation gain, loop trail. We have been on this one before.
We've talked about it.
It's hard to believe it was so long ago.
Was it like it was
2019?
5 years ago?
2019 we went.
Yeah.
2018.
Was it like the
2019.
third trail we did?
Yeah.
Close
My
to that.
second.
Fourth
Third,
trail.
Third trail.
It was the third trail.
Was it third?
My second.
Dolly
Yeah.
Loyal Manistee.
Yeah, first
Yeah.
one for Paul.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was I liked the core chunk of that trail. I thought it's an easy trail. It had some unbelievable views without like the insane effort.
Yeah.
My problem with
On
that
the
trail
one side.
on the one side,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
My biggest issue with that trail was I think a little bit of the maintenance with it. The trailhead that we were supposed to be starting on was pretty difficult to find. We had to do a lot of road walking.
Well-
same thing happened at the end too.
Only because I gotta say that's on us.
Yeah, it was free GPS
Because
too.
this was
Right.
where they have the trailhead here is not where we started. We started further north up at that park over by the dam. So we kind of made it harder than it needed to be.
Is this the one we had to
Because
do
we
the night walk on the first
Yeah.
night?
Yeah, we extended. We wanted to extend the length of it because we didn't think it was long enough.
Yeah.
So we
This
started.
was when we were out
further-
to prove something.
We started further north than what the actual trail is, because the actual trail starts right where that bridge is that we crossed to go over the water.
Sure, I know that. Yeah,
No, you
spot.
say
yeah.
that, but planning the same trip again, we would have to find something. It's 19 miles. So if we're doing a typical 3-nighter,
So we started north of this dam.
Yes,
Remember
we did.
where we camped? Imagine if the weather was sweet.
Further down, and we also made it longer going south.
Dolly
Like what we
V2,
did Dolly-
yeah.
We made it longer going south because we backtracked going to
Yeah.
that one lake part up
Right.
back through.
All right.
So,
I'll give it to you for when we started. We shouldn't have started where we started.
Yeah.
But on the way back, we were following the trail as normal, and we got to a point where the trail
just stopped.
disappeared.
Yeah.
We
We
would
could
have
tell
this
where it
ends-
was supposed to be.
This ends before we would get to
I
that
understand.
section.
I understand.
But
But it was marked where we were able to make like it on the map.
it just kind of dead ended and stopped.
It was definitely the right way, and it just disappeared.
Which is
I'm
funny
gonna
because when you
say-
look at the map now, it doesn't have a connection point over. It literally
I see
stops.
that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I'm
see
gonna
that
say
now.
if we did it again, it would be totally different.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
It'd be totally different.
I agree.
I agree. You just want to go to Crunchies again.
That would be fantastic.
That is
be
the added
that would be
benefit.
wonderful.
So interestingly enough, this is a fun tidbit. We are recording right now, October 21st.
Yep.
We were at Manistee, October 20th of
Really?
2019.
Really?
So this time of year, we were up in northern Michigan.
Yeah.
You know
I
what?
know.
Yeah, the
no
trees
wonder
were
it was
orange.
friggin' cold.
It was gorgeous.
It
Yeah.
was.
yeah.
Yeah, a couple great
Wow.
nights.
Damn.
That was,
I don't remember it being that late in the year.
Me
Same.
neither. Now
Wow.
we don't typically go that late in the year. So we haven't done that in the last few years.
Dang.
But
Missed
man,
opportunity.
that is well, I'm not surprised to see it on this list. And before
Yeah.
we
I'm
got
a
on
little
mic, I
surprised,
know-
but once we figured out like it's more of a popular vote, then that makes sense because this is accessible by a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of trailheads all over the place.
Yes.
Right.
And this was one of the trails that we had mentioned before where people will only go to a campsite that's on that ridge on the right side, the east side of the
there
river.
you go. Thank you.
God.
He's learning.
and just they will go from their car and walk to the campsite and get the best campsites, and they'll do that like at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So if you're backpacking and you're expecting to get some of those really picturesque views,
Probably not going to happen.
you're probably not going to get it.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you said that. It's no surprise that it's on this list because of how easy it is. The next one on the list is actually extremely hard. So it's
Yes.
not
You're
surprising
right.
that it's on here because it's
You're right.
it is extremely popular and beautiful, but this is another one that we've done.
Yes.
This is coming from the
Done
White
some of
Mountains
them.
in New Hampshire. This is the Presidential Traverse
In the blue
Trail
corner.
in the White Mountains. So
White Mountains.
what they have on here is 18 and a half miles, almost over 8,200 feet in elevation gain. It's I would say this makes sense that it's so challenging. So typically on all the trails they have like an estimated time. This one doesn't even have one on there.
Right.
But yeah, baby, this is another one that we've done or have been in the same area where we've kind of created.
Right.
Our
We didn't do the
thing.
full traverse.
We
right?
did the loop.
We did the loop.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
this is like a point to point
Right.
that they have mapped out. That's popular. Again, whenever you do these things, it's
How they get all
Make
these
your
pictures
thing.
where the sky's clear?
right. They had to take it really quick.
This was in the 30 minutes a year where the sky doesn't have clouds in it. That's where
That's funny.
the whites were. Yeah.
When I
man.
see the photos where there's no like what we saw, I'm ticked
totally
off.
different. I know.
I'm ticked
It's-
off.
It's a completely different place.
It's so different.
It's.
It's amazing.
It makes me want to go back.
Oh yes.
Sure.
I would
100%.
totally go
Listen,
back.
And
we've hashed this
we went
out
in August.
100 times.
I know. We've talked about
We
this
would
so many
redo.
times.
I mean, I think I would do every trail we've ever done.
Some of the
not
people
loyal side.
that have reviewed it recently are, they're definitely bringing micro spikes in their shoes and their boots because there's some
sense.
snow.
Now there is,
Yeah.
for sure.
Warmer days, you're sliding around a little bit because it's melting. But yeah, dude, pretty insane.
Starting to get cold.
Yeah, pretty incredible.
We were there in August.
Still
It's
to
that
this
cold.
day,
know.
one of my
Wild.
favorite trips we've done.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
people are doing
It's-
this
yeah,
one
it's
in a
top.
day, and they're starting at 4:30 and ending at 7 or 8 p.m.
Yeah.
so pretty
It's tough.
long day, dude.
And there's
That's
sections where you're going
dude.
slow because you can't.
So
that's a trail run.
I don't
man.
want to do that.
No,
like that
no.
kind of thing, like that sort of adventure for me.
Especially
I don't-
because-
that doesn't excite me.
Especially because the actual the lean-to,
Yeah,
the
dude.
cabin, like there
It's
was
not a
that's enjoyable.
backpacking trip.
That-
That's not. It's not a. You got to consider it not being a backpacking trip.
I don't
yeah.
disagree.
Yeah.
I
You're
still
not
don't
going
want to
to
do
do
it.
I mean, it's interesting to me. I like trail running, so I would do something like that. I think, but I enjoy backpacking and camping and
Yeah.
doing that kind of thing with you guys more than I do a solo trail run kind of thing.
yeah.
So
to go do something like
the
that.
getting
Yeah.
to the
Wouldn't
end
be as
part
cool.
is not the goal when I go out with you guys. It's everything in between. So
I think
why
I
rush
think where I'm
that?
struggling. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I know how beautifully cloudy it was when we went.
oh
It
god,
was beautiful.
It was beautiful,
Yeah.
while
Crazy.
still being shitty.
in a terrifyingly
And
shitty
I guess
way.
what I'm saying
Yeah,
is, I wouldn't want to go do that and like feel rushed to go through that.
Yeah.
No matter the activity, I would rather do it slower
Yeah.
and backpack it. So
Yeah, and this and I would it isn't. I guess I said I'm not surprised Manistee was on the list because it's accessible and easier. So I kind of am surprised this one's on the list, but
Yeah.
because it's part of the AT, so many people, everyone who hits the AT, who does the AT is hitting it.
hitting this
So
too, yeah.
it's but it is tough. Like if you're average Joe looking at like, oh, what are the best trails? I'm going out for my first one. I want to hit something really cool, and this one pops
Don't
on the
do this
list.
for
It's
your
like,
first
dude,
one.
take a half step.
Go to Dolly Sods.
Right, because the weather can mess you up.
Speaking of Dolly Sods, this is
anywhere
funny.
else other
I
than
was
Dolly Sods isn't on this list, I don't think.
It
right?
is not.
It's crazy.
I was with somebody
It's
this
wild.
weekend that their husband was interested in backpacking, and she was like, have you heard of Dolly Sods? I'm like, have I heard of Dolly Sods? I was like,
you know I have a podcast, right?
yeah, I have a podcast. They did. That's why they asked me. All right. So we are on number 5, number 6.
Do they follow?
The one after the presidential.
Have they liked and
I
subscribed?
think so.
Good.
We're on number
Shout out.
5.
Man.
All right, number 5. Bummer that this wasn't number 4. This one's called 4 Pass Loop.
Missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity. Come on, guys, let's get on it. Let's like this one a little bit more.
Yeah.
4 Loop Pass. This is in the Maroon Bells Snowmass Wilderness, which I cannot find what state this is in.
Oh,
If we
okay.
zoom
If
out,
I put
In the-
one in
the
from
Colorado-
Canada on here,
Wilderness?
if I put one in from Canada on here, I'll be real.
it's
upset.
Colorado. It's just southwest of Aspen.
Thank God. All right, so it's
That
20
would have been really funny.
That would have been
Would it have been
embarrassing.
funnier than the conversation we had about how far our eyes can see? God.
I feel like we've talked about this before,
This,
or
this
I've
trail?
looked at this
Trail?
trail before.
I've not.
I feel like I've seen it before because I'm looking at these photos and it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
it is
sure
bananas.
this
I'm
was
ready.
one that I looked at when we were talking about going out west for the first time.
So this bad boy is
It's one we need to look at
25.7 miles.
Yeah, this one photo looks familiar.
almost 8,000 feet in elevation. This is a nice loop.
Beautiful.
This is a permit there's a permit requirement for this bad boy. I do remember this one being mentioned, but it was extremely far away from any airport, and I think that's why it was one that we disqualified. It was like another 6 hours from Denver. Like it was like something insane.
I want to do this.
Yeah.
But this one
is beautiful. Though.
So the 4-pass loop, the route gets its name from the 4 12,000 feet passes it traverses: Buckskin, Trail Rider, Frigid Air, and West Maroon.
Frigid Air, is that where the that's where the fridge
appliance-
company
the
got there,
appliance
and they're
company?
like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah, there's
It's like all vehicles and all that shit. Like
you're right.
Like
There's
Toyota
there's
Tacomas. Okay, cool. Washington, we get it.
There's a General Electric river here through one of these too. So.
Dude,
Yeah.
I like
Westinghouse
this trail.
Pass. Yeah, I dig this. I would
is a
hike the
cool
shit out of
trail,
this
dude.
trail.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks beautiful. Oh, there's fucking moose on this. Let's go.
Go,
What's
baby.
up, Meese?
Let's get a permit and rock and roll.
Hell
No,
yeah.
this looks insane. There's a photo on here that I remember seeing when we looked it up, and it's basically like it has like the super dark, real skinny pine trees, mountains in the background, and then there's like a wetland where it's like all grass.
Yeah, kind
long
of
grass,
like big vista.
and
Yeah,
then just
meadow.
a little creek going through the middle of it. I mean,
Yeah.
oh my god, it's insanely beautiful.
Austin, man, I wish you came on last trip. I know. When you say that.
A lot of this is reminding me of wins for sure.
Next one. Next one.
Hang on. Well, did we
Fox.
talk about anything about the actual trail? So 25.7 miles.
Yes, I mentioned
You
that.
said that. All right.
Yeah.
It's not a ton of elevation.
I
It is
mean,
really
it's
hard.
7,000. It's 7,000 feet of elevation gain.
I don't know. Maybe my reference
Dang,
of that. I don't know what's a ton anymore. I just
Well,
kind of look at the
we
number.
did
and-
86 at 8,600
It's-
was the white.
It's
or was,
7,752
a couple
Yeah.
a couple of the highlights people are mentioning are beautiful, like a lot of wildlife encounters.
Yeah.
And apparently the campsites are
Dope.
real
Really?
nice. Yeah. So
that's
that's
adding that to the long boy list.
Next
Yeah.
year. Next year.
Somebody's saying it's actually kind of challenging to get a permit for this. So like,
So
was
let's
worth the
get a permit
So like,
now.
what the first thing this person says is worth the
Challenge.
challenge. The first thing this person says is it's worth the challenge to get the permit for this trip. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah. This
So
is cool.
altitude's going to be a thing.
I'm
Do we
texting,
know what's
I'm texting
our-
the rest of the boys.
Can you tell? Can you pro it up? What's our starting alt?
Are you going to be able to do this one?
Altitude would be a challenge. It would be the highest we've been.
Because I saw a review.
12,300 feet.
Yeah.
Let's go higher.
So there's a review of like he's like I live in Denver and the passes were really hard. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Nice.
12,400. I think is
Yeah.
the
What
highest.
was the highest we were at in the circ?
we
Almost
hit-
12.
Okay.
It was like 11 something.
So we're gonna have to
Were we
go out
over
there a
11?
couple weeks beforehand.
Yeah. It'd be hard.
It was especially if there's passes involved. Like I mean,
Shit.
if it's anything close to what Texas and Jackass were,
It's all.
Yeah.
You're just. I mean, there's
None of
there's
none of
four
those-
passes. What do you mean if there are passes?
Yeah, man, we got to go through
no,
frigid air.
That's
no.
what the trail is called.
I was saying if there were passes like Texas Pass, which
Yeah.
those aren't quite as steep.
I
as
mean, they're not
Texas.
as steep.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe the one at the end there,
Oh, we are so smart.
but Texas was like that was up.
Yeah, it's nothing like Texas Pass.
Okay.
We're talking about like 25%.
This is more like
grade.
Arkansas Pass. I mean, no, for sure.
Yeah, 26% grade, 30% grade. It's
But-
not as
but
steep,
yeah.
that's for sure.
But hard,
But higher.
But higher elevation
Yeah.
starting and total.
So it would be difficult. I think is the short and the long of it. Yeah.
something to think about.
Gorgeous, challenging,
Gorgeous.
It's on my list.
Let's
All
go.
right. All right, we're coming in hot with number 4. This is one that's much different on all the other ones that we've seen. This is Havasu Falls, Mooney Falls, and Beaver Falls. This is the Havasu Pie Indian Reservation nearby Grand Canyon National Park.
Very hard to get a permit.
Yes,
Extremely
another
hard.
permit one. It's not part of the Grand Canyon National Park. The Indian Reservation is something different, but
Yep.
it's nearby. Very difficult to get a permit. So this is a 24.4 mile out and back. Not a lot of elevation, but your challenges are going to be different being in Arizona. This
Looks gorgeous.
area came up on an articles episode because this was an area where a bunch of people got sick.
Yep. At the campground.
At the campground.
They had some of them had to
Oh,
be
is
air
that
backed
right?
out.
Yeah.
My brother and sister-in-law have done this trail.
Oh, this really okay.
Yep. Yeah, their pictures are absolutely gorgeous.
Well, where are they?
It's ridiculous.
Can they tell us about this?
I'm sure they could. John Kim Cullen.
Do it now.
Yeah,
Lines are open.
this is epic. This is insanely beautiful.
They mentioned it's a very difficult trail.
Yeah. Once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
People are saying. I mean,
I think I can remember.
It's the red. Everything's so red.
Yeah. I
Just
remember my
all the
brother-in-law
rock.
saying, like, he called over and over again to get a permit for weeks.
Dang.
Would spend hours trying to call over and over again to try to get somebody on the phone to get a permit.
what?
Yeah, it was.
I don't
it
love
was
that.
very, very
Yeah,
difficult. I don't
that
know.
sucks.
They went a few years ago, before the pandemic and stuff like that. I think.
I was gonna
I
say,
don't
let
know
me
if there's
rip up
anything
the
that's changed,
recreation.gov and see
but
what's possible.
It
here.
is
I'm
very.
curious.
It was very difficult, and he was shocked he was able to get one.
Wow, that's crazy.
And
There's
he
a
called
lot.
out I think 6 months before.
Yeah,
they
I mean
left.
that's what some people are saying. It's like it's difficult to get a permit. Also, some people are saying like some of the problems are there's a lot of litter.
Yeah,
Really?
So
That's
Well, I'll tell you
That's
what. Some of the
awful.
water
Clean up.
features here are just
at the
astounding.
campsite. Just at the campsite. I mean, that's beautiful.
well, right. But I
here.
mean, these waterfalls.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's tons of them.
beautiful. I love it. Yeah.
Just amazing.
And yeah, that would be a totally different challenge to being in the environment that it's in. You know, it's rocky, it's hot, it's desert basically. But yeah, some of these water features. I mean, the water is like turquoise
Yeah.
and
the
green. And
contrast in all of the just the colors of the scenery is like blue sky against red rock against blue water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like amazing.
pretty insane. I love it.
Ah, I want to be outside.
Yeah, that one's pretty much
Yeah.
different than some of the other ones we've looked at. But yeah, cool. Any other thoughts on that one, boys?
Just
Let's
wait.
go.
So where was this again?
Let's go. Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah, Grand Canyon.
Yeah, Arizona's been on my list forever. But that is like that's the rock I want to go see next if I had the choice.
That's the one.
It's just that vibrant
The
like
rock.
red.
Like a rock.
Something about it. Yeah. Dang, that's awesome. What's next?
Sweet. We are headed to the Rocky Mountains. This is Pike National Forest, actually. The Pikes Peak via Barr Trail.
Oh, this makes total
Right
sense.
next to Colorado Springs.
I was gonna say this is the one with like that big staircase and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one's
This
pretty
makes total
Yep.
sense.
epic. 23.2 miles, 7,500 feet of elevation gain out and back. Yeah, this is pretty sweet. What's cool about this one is the top of Pikes Peak and actually get crazy stormy. So they recommend you get out pretty early to get out to the peak before noon because summer months you're out there, or even like more like spring and fall. In the like afternoon, like the peak can get like crazy stormy. So
Oh, really?
when you're summiting that, you want to kind of get out there early. But yeah, pretty cool, man. This one's yeah, dude. This is pretty sweet. I like.
How
this
high
one.
is the wait, so is the peak the main sort of
Yes.
how high
That's
is
kind of
that?
like the
Four-
pain thing.
It's a 14er.
It is, yes. So this is I think it might be our only 14 or
Yeah. 14,011 feet.
Wow.
That's,
Yeah.
that's high, dude.
That's high.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
up.
pretty insane. Yeah, like somebody just recently, as yesterday, reviewed it and said there was snow on the last 3 miles.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
He said no technical gear required, but a lot of snow.
I would want spikes for that.
yeah,
for sure.
We were seeing snow at 10 to 11 in the
Yeah.
winds.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was
In freaking July.
So yeah, there's gonna be
This is
snow.
an interesting thing about this. You have to pay for parking on this one. It's $20 per day.
We did that at
Yeah,
the Adirondack.
Yeah.
I'm
did
not
you really?
surprised
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Dude,
Interesting.
that's a tourist thing, man. I hate to say it, and I know a few people who have done Pikes Peak. I think it'd be cool to do, but that stair thing, like I feel like it's a challenge where people are like, "Oh, we're here, let's go do
Sure.
it."
Yeah.
So the parking makes total sense.
I mean, it is right next to Colorado Springs.
A lot of these people
Yeah.
are saying that they did it in a day.
yeah, it's like a thing people do.
Yeah.
It's like a day hiker kind of thing. Interesting.
Yeah,
There's
because
probably not a lot of camp spots around.
Well, I
there.
was just gonna
Yeah.
say, yeah, I'm looking here and I don't see.
dude, it's like a challenge. People want to like say they did it. That's,
Yeah.
I mean that's what we want to do on every trail. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Rewarding summit experience, long distance, bring plenty of
There's
water and
some
snacks.
camp.
So yeah,
Is it,
it sounds like this
uh,
one's more of like a day.
Is it summit and back? to the summit and back.
There's one camp spot called Barr Camp where everyone camps out at, and it's like
right.
it's like midway.
Yeah, they drink
a
beers
little
there,
more
too.
than midway actually. It's like a
Raising the bar.
It's like 3/4.
So you're saying you can make it a 2-nighter?
yes.
Short
can
day
make it, but
camp at
You
the
can
bar
also
camp.
But again, this
you
is
can
another one
also
where, like,
drive
Summit-
up to
Summit,
Pikes
come back.
Peak.
Yeah,
Ew.
but who wants to do that? Summit, come back, hang out, and then go.
Right.
Yeah, this is another one where people are like, "Oh, we started at 5, we ended at 7 p.m." You know,
Yeah. Again,
14
you know,
hours.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm less interested in that, but I also
I get it. I get the
I don't
challenge.
know.
Now,
I
if you're
will
going to
say-
do it, I mean, you can't not do it that way unless you're going to have a good spot to camp. So.
I agree. I also think, and this is no discredit to the folks that are doing this, because, like I said, I know a handful of people that, and this is, I think, where I'm drawing the distinction. I think there are people who don't do like hiking that want to do this. So for those people, like
Right.
that's the way they do it. They don't go out and do the Wind River Range,
Right,
the
right.
Adirondacks. They're like, hey, we're in Colorado. Let's go whoop this thing's ass. Let's
Yeah.
do the peak and check it out.
There's a
Like,
lot of people that just do 14. Like
Right.
that's a thing. They go out and do 14ers.
Yeah,
sure.
They tackle the 14ers.
So I think like in the context of that, it's not like
Yeah.
people who are backpacking. It's like it's kind of like the folks that did Mount Mitchell. Like you can drive up
Right.
there,
Right.
And like they just want to see the peak and do,
But what
and do the peak.
What I
Yeah.
like about this is I'm glad you found the campsite because like this could meet all of those needs for us. Like we could
Yeah.
go out and say, hey, we're going to camp. Like it's a real short day. We're going to camp, hang out, have a good day. Our main day is going to be the summit and back.
No, actually, the main day would be getting to the camp spot, then going down.
I'm
Up-
gonna
up.
guess.
How close is the camp? Is
I'm
it like
gonna
right at
guess
the
if
summit,
we
right at the
did
bottom?
that-
It's like a 3/4 of the way there.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
still, but still,
We
you get
would-
summit day and then kind of 2 camp
We
nights.
would be so annoyed because there would be so many f***ing people.
That is
Yeah.
absolutely
and there
true.
would
I'm
be
sure it's
people
gonna be
wearing
insane.
Old Navy
Yeah.
flip-flops. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, it would be that kind of trip.
I agree. I agree.
Yes.
Right here.
Oh,
So you start here. And
It'd
then-
be cool to summit. Like I would love
sweet.
that, but I think
it's probably packed. Yeah.
it would be packed. That'd
Yeah.
be my. That's
You're
why
right.
they're charging 20 bones a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, making bank.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude, got to pay for all those the shit. People
they
got to
clean up the wag bags.
You're-
Here.
you're parking-
Wag bag cleanup.
You're parking at the Barr trailhead.
Wag bag. Thank you, man.
All right,
A lot of zigzagging on this.
top.
Yeah, I see that.
Top 2. All right, so
Give it to
number
us.
2 on this list, we've got Rim to Rim. Guess what park that is? This is
The
in
Cuyahoga Valley National Park.
Yeah, right. The Grand Canyon National Park. This is a North
The granddaddy
Kaibab,
of them all.
the North Kaibab
Kaibab.
Kaibab.
to Bright Angel Trails. So yeah, this is I'm not surprised this one is in the top 2. 23.3 miles, only 4,200 feet in elevation gain point to point. This guy
52.
is
Yeah,
What did I
52.
say?
You said 42. 5,200.
whatever.
1,000 feet.
Yeah, it's, if you can't do it. If you can't do it, grab one of the donkeys. That
This
are
is.
hanging out.
I'm not necessarily a bucket list person, but if I were, this would be on it. I want to do this.
I think you are a bucket list person because I think when we had that episode, you had a couple bucket list trips.
Oh, touche.
That was too long ago.
This
for me to
one,
remember.
yeah.
That was 70 episodes ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
This is episode 90.
really
Episode
want to do this trail.
Yeah. Whoa.
Wow.
Jeez.
Man,
I want
a
to
lot of
stay at
time.
Phantom Ranch so bad.
Yeah, dude. Phantom Ranch is kind of like one of the highlights there. Again, this is
Yeah.
another one that people could decide to do in one day if they wanted to. What's cool about this and why you're able to do 23 miles in the middle of Arizona and Grand Canyon is because you are. There's a lot of shade. It's much
Yeah.
cooler
Yeah.
than just being like out there in the desert, which is nice. Plenty of water, stuff like that. So accessible, not a crazy elevation gain. There's
Yeah.
even like bathrooms on the route and stuff like that. So it's not as
So no wag bags.
no wag
Not
bags
a ton
needed.
of not a ton of like backcountry.
Yeah, there's amenities,
Yeah.
because it is, if you're hiking in the Grand Canyon, they don't want people just letting loose down
Right.
that
Well,
valley.
but
so-
I will say, and I mean, it's still the Grand Canyon. I mean, they're like the amenities are less than you think. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty primitive down there. So, and then the other thing that's worth noting, and I think we've talked about this before, is the temperature difference between the top
Yeah.
of the Grand Canyon and the lower piece.
definitely.
It's like 15 to 20 degrees,
Yeah.
which is insane. So if it's like hot up top, it's a lot hotter below. So
Absolutely.
like, the water situation is a huge consideration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's an intense one. So
Just like
Sweet.
camping. Intense.
Come on.
Or in cabin,
Come on.
far less fun to say though.
Yeah.
all right, we're coming down to
That's
the number
an Enchanted
one.
one.
Can we get a drum roll, please? All right, number one on our list is Mount Whitney Trail in Inyo National Forest.
Indio.
Inyo.
In your face.
So this
Just gonna say that shit.
in your face.
Wow.
All right, that is probably offensive to some tribe. So it's not a super long one. It's 21.2 miles. They keep getting shorter the higher we go up the list.
It's hard.
But yeah, it is a hard one. 66. Ooh, it's almost 6,066
Wow, it's almost, yeah.
the devil's number. I'm getting tired. This is getting late. All right.
What are you talking about? It's morning.
Permits are required to
we
day
just had
hike
some
and
brekkie.
backpack the Mount Whitney zone. Can somebody please tell me where Mount Whitney is?
It's in California.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that's right. Thank you. Mount Whitney.
Where in California?
It's I believe it is the tallest mountain
It is
summit
in the United States.
in the lower 40.
Continental,
Yeah.
because it's not
Yeah.
higher than Denali.
Yeah, Denali is the highest in North America, but
Yeah.
it is the highest in the lower 48
Yeah.
at 14,474 ish.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
this is
Wow.
pretty
Which
dope.
is
A lot of beautiful waterfalls.
60 feet higher than Mount Rainier.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is another.
How many?
60.
60
That's it?
feet?
Yeah, they're very close.
All right. So
Weak.
this is another one that, like, again, this is going to happen when you get higher, more popular on a list like this. But another out and back in one day one for a lot of people. But I mean, honestly, their suggested time for this is like 2 to 4 a.m.
Yeah.
To do that. If you're not, it says in spring into early summer, expect snow and ice on the
Yeah.
trail. They're telling you potentially using crampons and ice pick, ice axe. So yeah, pretty insane.
I mean, you're at 14.
I know a guy who did it, but it took him 2 tries to do it.
Yeah.
Really?
The first
Yeah.
time he got, I don't know if he got lost, but he definitely started at like 2 a.m.
Yep.
Went by himself.
Yeah.
And
Oh, geez.
dude, pitch black. I mean, he said it was hard. So.
Yep.
That's crazy. Yeah, there's like there's one part that's like they call it the famous 97 switchbacks. So you're just like going back and forth.
Yuck.
You do hit the John Muir Trail, which is pretty sweet. And then at the near the summit, there's a little hut there that you can hang
All
out
right.
with. But this
So-
is definitely like a hiking poles, like
I'm looking at
windy,
the-
tough trail.
I'm
man.
looking at the
Yeah.
trail on the map, and it's like,
Give it to us, beef.
so it's just a line that goes, goes south and then shoots up and whatever. And you said the 97 switchbacks.
you can see it
when
on
you
here.
zoom in. Holy
Yeah,
crap!
it's wild.
Because they're so small. When you look at it zoomed out, it just looks like a straight line. You go
Yeah,
in,
it
and there's
looks like my heartbeat when I start thinking about food.
Dude, you got to go in far for those lines to actually like separate.
That's amazing.
That is those are some tight switchbacks.
I love it, dude. This is a cool one, man. This is really nice. And what's neat about this one too, I mean, again, like a lot of these other areas, there's this one part of it just says Whitney Zone. And I feel like that's a place that you would go and just exclusively listen to Whitney Houston.
The Whitney Zone.
Welcome to the Whitney
This
Zone.
is like the Discovery Zone.
2 straight hours of Whitney Houston and nothing else.
That would be
You're in
amazing.
the Whitney Zone. Anyways.
It's just somebody with their JBL playing Whitney Houston all day.
And you're like,
Get out of here, dude.
We're on the trail,
we've
bro.
made it to the Whitney Zone.
We made it to the Whitney Zone. Oh my god. I
So-
wanna dance with somebody.
Interestingly enough, and I think we talked about it during one of like our documentary. What was it? Oh, mile and a half.
Yeah.
They did the JMT.
Yep.
I so fucking badly want to do that.
Yeah.
You talk about bucket list. That's there too.
Yeah.
John Muir Trail.
I agree.
Yeah.
Hard
John
on
Muir
my
Trail's
list.
sweet.
Because it's
Yeah.
like it's under
like
200.
yeah,
it's
I was
under
gonna say
200 miles.
160 or something.
They did it in like a month.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
This is
love
really
that.
this is a really rocky trail. There's not a lot of like dirt and mud. Like
A lot of crag.
A lot of crag. Yep, for sure. It actually reminds me of some of the. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell from these pictures, but reminds me of what you guys did. The winds. I don't know.
It's like right on the edge of the Sequoia National Park. I actually think.
Well, it's right
Whitney,
between.
Is Whitney's technically in it?
Death Valley's on the other side of it.
It is. You're right.
Wow, that's insane.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's like
it is.
I need a map.
It's sandwiched between Sequoia, then there's Inyo, and then Death Valley's on the eastern side.
It's
I'm a little
south of-
surprised it is the most popular one on this list. Only because of like I feel like I just never hear of this region being mentioned.
It's also really fucking hard to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess people could rate it. I mean, without doing maybe the whole thing. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could rate
It's still
something
hard,
without finishing it, right?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And it could just be like, yeah, this is badass.
Is it bad? I'm looking at like where we would fly into.
Yeah, probably Los Angeles.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, it's probably the
Because
probably the closest.
It's just north of
Yeah.
LAX, but
Nice.
by
I mean, not just
not
north,
just.
but
It's a bit, but you
it's
got to
in
go
between. It's in between
It's
Yosemite
just
and
up
LAX.
from LAX, as
Up,
Brian would say.
You just go.
You just
straight.
go up.
No, you go straight. As long as you're standing in LAX
Yeah,
and facing
right. You go
north,
straight.
yeah,
You go straight.
We got the prime
Not
meridian
completely,
over
not
here.
completely straight.
Left coast, right coast.
Oh my god.
So that was number
I
one.
love that.
Yeah,
That was
number
number
one.
one.
Yeah, that was the
Damn.
one. Pretty epic. That was a. Although some people do it in one day, that's a pretty epic one to have on number one. Pretty difficult one.
Yeah.
But hey, it's probably region area. You
Yeah.
know, is probably has one thing.
So
to
we
do with
got.
it.
How far east did we get?
Oh, dude.
To Detroit, or not to,
To
Detroit,
Michigan.
to
New
Michigan.
Hampshire. We got to
No.
Michigan.
No, New Hampshire.
No.
New
Oh,
Hampshire,
yeah,
bro.
yeah,
New
the
Hampshire,
Whites.
you're
You're
right.
right.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
right. Yeah,
Okay.
the whites.
So we had three basically Midwest
Yeah.
to East Coast ones that made the list, which
Yeah.
is pretty
Freaking
dope.
finally,
I love that.
Arkansas,
Jeez.
dude.
Arkansas, dude. I thought it was pretty neat that we
was
got
pretty
some
neat.
of that stuff on the stuff from the Midwest or the East Coast on it. But again, I think a reason why a lot of that got shut out is because there's so many day hikes
Yeah.
in popular national
Yeah,
parks
yeah.
on the West Coast.
Shorter.
What do we do next for our top 10 list in a couple months? What do you think, guys?
Top 10 wag bag trail.
No.
Trails you have to bring wag bags on?
Huh. I'll have to think about that.
I will have to think about that.
Yeah.
It might be one. We could isolate to just the eastern side of the U.S. if we could.
East Coast trails.
And see
That'd
if
be kind of
there's-
fun.
What's the top 10 on the?
We would probably have a
Draw
ton
a
of
line,
places
yeah,
we
right.
want to go from
Yeah.
there.
And we probably we've probably been to many of them.
Probably.
But,
Adirondacks would be on there. New
it'd be
Hampshire would
interesting to see
Yeah.
what the All Trails community.
For a longer
You know.
one, probably like the ones in Virginia.
Oh, the Long Trail. You talking about the Long Trail?
Maybe there's the Triple Crown. That's
Oh,
one
yeah,
of them.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably a
that's
popular
part-
one.
That's some,
And,
that's on some of the
uh,
AT.
Yeah.
If not that, I know we've done U.S. based this entire time.
I was just gonna say,
we
take
could do
it overseas.
international.
Yeah,
take it
global.
overseas.
yeah.
that'd be sweet.
Oh man,
The Dolomites.
yeah.
The Dolomites.
Dolomites.
Love that. Love that.
On that
Love
note, if
it.
you guys have any questions, shoot us an email. Email's trail3pod@gmail.com. Don't forget to leave us a comment below. If you haven't, give us a 5-star rating. That helps us out. We love you. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, Georgie.
Welcome to the Whitney Zone. Yeah.
The Trail Theory Podcast is sponsored by Audimute and Audio Technica. Music by Dan Koch.